Welcome to our Teen and Tween Craft Time here at the Bartram Trail branch of the St. Johns County Public Library System. I am Carla Day, the Young Adult Librarian. Today we are making a thankful banner that you can see across the top of our table here. And if you picked up a kit at the library like this, you should have 10 sheets of cardstock folded in half. They are scored in the middle, and we'll talk about that in a minute. A piece of paper with thankful spelled out, and 2 cardstock leaves, and a 2-yard strand of string or hemp string right here. There are additional materials that you will need. You will need a pencil and a ruler, some scissors and a glue stick, or some double-sided tape. Okay, if you do not have a kit from the library, you will need 4 to 5 sheets of cardstock that are fall colors and kind of coordinated together. And what you will need to do before you start the rest of your project is you will need to cut that into 4 12-inch strips. Now I have this piece of paper that is directional, and what that means is all of these moose in this picture, which is not something we would use for our Thanksgiving craft, but just to show you something that will show up on the camera, that the moose need to be upright. So when you go to cut your cardstock, you would want to make sure that you cut it this way, and it's going to be 4 inches and 4 inches through the middle, and I can stop and do that real quick on here. And so we'll go ahead and cut that at 4 inches. You could also do that with a ruler and scissors. But that way, as you can see, our moves are upright. You're going to, when you go to fold this in half, you're going to put the right side up in the front. So just be aware that if you have paper that is directional like that, that you keep that in mind. Now, one of the things that I did for your kits was that I actually scored the paper, and what I did, because this is 12 inches, I put the 12 inches and I used a paper score to go like this. You could also take a ruler and a pair of scissors, and not real sharp scissors, but you could measure where the middle was if you wanted to, and you could score it that way, but it's not really necessary. But just so you know that that is a possibility for what you can do. All right, so we have another segment, and we'll see you again in a moment to actually start making our banner. Welcome back. So as you see on our banner at the front, the bottom of our pieces have a triangular shape. And the way that you would do that is you take your ruler and the corner of your piece of banner, and this one is directional, so I want to make sure that I put my triangles down at the bottom. You may not be able to see that from where you are, but I'm going to take my ruler and I am going to measure up and put a dot at 1 1/4 inches over here on one edge. I'm going to turn my paper around and I'm going to mark 1 1/4 inches on the put a dot at 1 1/4 inches on the other one, and then I'm going to come down to the middle and I am going to mark the middle, which is 2 inches, because this is 4 inches across. I'm just going to put a dot there. So now I have my 3 dots, and what I'm going to do is I am going to connect my dots right here, and then I'm going to go from the other side, my 1 1/4, and go across my dot again. And then what I would do is I would cut across my line on that side, and then I would cut across my line on this side, and this is what makes your triangular piece. Now, what you can do now that you have, and this is the piece that I made when I was making my banner here was I took this piece that I had measured very carefully, and each other piece I brought it down on the next one, opened it up and lined it up, and then I just drew my lines on there instead of measuring it each time. Now you want to go back to your original piece, because if you took this piece and went to this piece and then went to this piece and went to this piece, you would be off a little bit more each time. So make sure that you go back to your original one that you've marked very, very carefully. So you want to make sure that you get the first one right, and then use that piece to mark all of the rest of your pieces. So once you have that, all of your triangle shapes on the bottom cut out, you will cut out your letters. And I have already cut these out, but it's very, you would just do this, you would cut out and cut out your shapes. And so that is what you would do next. And then when you get all of your letters cut out, which I've already done, you want to arrange your cardstock with your leaves and your letters. Now, you should have two solid pieces, and that is what you would put your leaves on, like this. So I'm going to start in the middle there, and then I'm going to see how I want to arrange these, how I like them. And you want to decide how to arrange these before you start pasting your letters on, because once the letters are pasted on, you can't change it anymore after that. So let's see how I want to do this. What looks good to me, my pattern. I don't want to put two that are exactly the same together, probably. Let's see. Spread these out a little bit. Okay, I think I'll spread that one. Okay. Those are a little close. As you can see, I'm kind of playing with this to see how I like it. I really like this real bright piece. I think I'd like that in the middle, because we actually, so let's see. Am I missing one? Oh, I am. Okay, I didn't have one of my pieces up here. That one there. So I think I like it this way. So now that I have these arranged, and I have not cut out the triangular part yet, but just to show you how to do this, then at that point I would go ahead and use a glue stick, and I think I like the glue stick for the leaves, or some glue, because that way I can get all of these little tips and all laid down very well. So I'm going to take my glue stick and go around the edge of those. Okay, and I would put that, I'm putting that with my glue stick. I'll go ahead and do the glue stick on the other one. That way I can get all of those little pieces down. If you're doing leaf pieces at home, I did do a Google image search, and when I did that, I found all kinds of beautiful patterns for leaves if you're cutting out your own, so you can keep that in mind. All right. And so I'm going to go ahead and put my letters up here, and you could use, I actually like the idea of using just a little piece of double-sided tape to start out, because that way if I don't like it, there's a little bit of flexibility to change it. So that's just one thing that you could do, but let's just pretend that I'm double sticking all of these on here. So I would put all of those on and make sure that I like them, and then glue them down or put more double-sided tape on the back. And then after that, you would put your string through all of these pieces, and you would have your project and your thankful sign for Thanksgiving. So thank you very much for coming to our craft program today, and thank you very much to our Friends of the Library for paying for all of our many programs that we have at the library, and for all of the other things they do, like buying books for us. And we'll see you again next time.